Thank you for joining us today on another adventure in real estate. Today we have Miss Patti Dickerson with Virginia Title Center. Patti, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Steve.
So I tell you, Patti, since we've been doing these, we've had the opportunity to do a couple, and I've been wanting to ask you about, I always get the question of, should I purchase title insurance? But before we go there, let's back up and share with me, Patti, what is title insurance?
Well, title insurance protects the homeowner's interest in the property against any potential financial loss due to issues that can come up on title. For instance, when we get a new contract in our office, we open the file and the first thing we do is we order a title search.
Okay.
We have an examiner go out to the courthouse, check all the records on the property and the owners to make sure that there's clear title, that there's no liens against the property, judgments, unpaid taxes.
Okay.
Heirs. When it comes to estates, that always is a little tricky. And so we want to make sure that the seller can pass clear title to the purchaser.
All right. And clear title is important from the standpoint of, if you're the new owner, you don't want to have anyone that might have a claim to it. That's what you say, clear title.
Exactly. Whether it's, well, I got some good stories for you later that we'll go over that really will make it come home.
So, tell us a little. You told us what title insurance is. What about what does it cost? What does most title insurance? I mean, does it vary depending on the property?
It does, and there's actually two kinds of title insurance. The lender's title insurance, which protects the lender's interest in the property, and then owner's title insurance, which protects the owner's interest in the property. Okay. Lenders require it, which should tell people something right there. And it protects them should anything come up on the title in the future, or if it goes to foreclosure, it protects them as well. The cost does vary based on the purchase price and the loan amount. Let's say, for instance, a $200,000 property, $150,000 loan. The lender's insurance, which is required, is $435. And if you buy the owners with it, you get a discount called a simultaneous discount, and the owners would be $445. So a total of $880, but that $445 is just extra. The borrower has to pay the lender's insurance, so they might as well spend just a little bit more to protect themselves.
Sure. And that's, if I understood you correctly, that's on a $200,000 home?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So if we were talking about and again, I'm just throwing this out on an example, but let's say we're talking about a $400,000 property, it's going to be more?
Yes.
The insurance would be more?
Yes.
Okay.
And the lender's is based on the loan amount, and the owner's is based on either the assessed value or the purchase price, whichever is higher.
Okay, so whichever part is higher. All right. So talked a little bit about what is title insurance. We talked about the cost, right? And then I think we've kind of covered, what does title insurance cover? Have we covered most of that, or do we need something else?
I think the important thing for folks to understand is it's a one-time cost. It's not like homeowners insurance that's recurring.
Right.
It's paid one time. It lasts for the lifetime of that owner and their heirs owning the property, and it protects them from anything that occurs from the time they purchase it backwards.
Okay. And I'm just curious, you mentioned homeowners or car insurance, if you will. So let's say that there was an issue that comes up. Do I have to show my certificate in order to be covered, or is it just simple as calling Virginia Title Center and saying, hey, look, I've got this issue, can you help me out with my title? Can you help me with the title insurance as far as steering me to the right direction?
Actually, when a claim does occur, we get a phone call. We refer them to the claims department of Investors Title, who's our underwriter. And then they ask us to pull all the documents related to that owner's policy and to that transaction and send that to them, so they can then represent the owner.
I see.
And identify what issues they are, if they're ones that need to be resolved, and how they resolve it. And that's at no charge to the owner.
Okay.
And that includes attorney's fees, any other fees to make them whole. So that $400 that they're throwing out there extra could save them from tens of thousands of dollars in attorney fees.
Oh, doesn't take long attorney fees to eat up $400. I don't.
No, probably a couple hours is about it. Yeah.
So, I've been curious. You mentioned the nightmare stories here. Let's hear. Give me some goodies here. Let's hear some stories about some things you may have encountered while you've been in the business.
Yeah. Well, one that missing $250,000 federal tax lien.
Oh wow.
First-time home buyers buying a home. Find out a little bit later that there is a $250,000 tax lien that attached to the property from the former sellers.
Oh.
Was not caught by the examiner, so it is a defect. They were smart. They paid for that owner's insurance, filed a claim, and the title insurance company was able to negotiate with the IRS and got it removed from that property and attached to other properties that seller owned.
They were fortunate.
So, very fortunate.
Yeah.
Another good one, and this one just is amazing to me, is a prior owner equity line paid but not closed out.
So it's still floating out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family purchased a home. Seller equity line was paid off at closing. The bank didn't close it down. The former seller figured that out. They went shopping. They ran that up and defaulted and didn't pay. Yeah. That lender comes back to the current owners and says, you know, this is associated with your property. You need to pay it. Again, they were smart. They got that owner's policy, and the insurance company took care of it for them, so they didn't have to worry about it. Now, if they didn't have it, they would have to spend attorney's fees and any other potential fees to get that taken care of.
Yeah, that would have, ooh. And I can imagine something like that happen with my wife. She would not be happy. Would not be happy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Now, one of my favorite ones, if I can share one more, is the son nobody knew existed.
You said the son?
Son nobody knew existed, yes.
An heir.
Yes.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yes, it is. A couple purchased a property from an estate. All the folks involved, all the sellers, all the heirs to the estate signed off on it. People moved in, lived there for several years. One day, a guy comes knocking on the door.
Oh, gosh.
And he says, I own part of this home. And they said, how can that be? Well, my dad used to own this house.
Oh.
And they said, everybody signed off on it. He said, well, nobody knows about me.
Oh, gosh.
Evidently, Dad had been married once before, had a whole nother family, never shared it with the other family.
Ooh.
So he had interest in the property,
Sure.
and they had owner's insurance, filed a claim. They took care of paying the son off, and all was good. So again, you think about that little payment at closing, one-time payment, can save from a lot of heartache.
Be huge, man. Those are good stories. Those are really good stories.
And that's probably good ones that you can keep in mind if somebody ever asks you at the closing table, do I really need this? The answer is yes.
Yes. It would be a good idea. Be a very good idea. And let me share with you some stories, and I'll be ready to go, Patty, when they ask.
And there's great ones too, especially with rural properties. It's always important to get a survey. Easements, right of access. Don't want things on a handshake because things can go sour years later.
That's right.
So.
Great words of wisdom there, Patty. Oh. Was there anything else you want to share covering title insurance that we left out?
No, but if folks are interested in learning more, they can give Virginia Title Center a call. They can visit our website at virginiatitlecenter.com. We've got some great resources out there, and we've got a fun quote calculator should you be looking to purchase a home. It gives you all the cost involved in closing costs.
Closing, sure. Well, that's a great resource, and I've actually used that a couple times myself.
Good.
Patty. Oh. Well, thank you for being with us.
Yes, well, thank you, Steve.
We will look forward to having you again on another adventure in real estate. But until then, you guys, be safe.